Start her up first.
Alright guys, now welcome to Enoch Rides motovlog number 2. Okay, so in this motovlog, because I've had this question so many times, right? So many times, people asking, oh, how do you ride a bike? How do you get into it? What license do I need? So I thought I'd make a video on it and explain it all step by step. This will be in depth to the best of my ability, okay? So let's just talk about all the licenses, and then I may go over some bikes. I'll tell you guys how I got into riding, the bikes that I had and what license I had under them, and then that way you can kind of gauge, you know, what you can get, what you can't get, and all those type of things. Yeah, am I recording? Yeah, I am. Perfect. Okay, so don't want to open my visor, may not be able to hear anything. Exhaust sounds amazing today though. So okay, so let's go over the basics first. So I will speak for UK licenses. If you're international viewers, unfortunately I can't help you, but as of for the UK in 2025, I haven't updated it, so it's been the same for a little bit. So you have the CBT, which is the compulsory basic training, which is what most people start off at. The youngest you can be for that is 17. No, definitely the youngest you can be for that is 17, and you can have that basically until, you can have that whenever, but it does renew every 2 years, right? So the CBT compulsory basic training is, you're limited up to a 125, okay? And you can either go for a moped or you can go for a motorbike, but it'll all be 125cc, okay? So that is what you do have to understand. Bloody hell. So yeah, as I was saying, the compulsory basic training, all it consists of, you basically go there, it's a one-day course, right? And you'll basically do some small maneuvers. It's not really a test, the CBT. It's a it's kind of a training exercise. Hello doggy, hello, look at him, he's happy. He's not happy, he's jumping up. What was I saying? Yeah, so it's not really a test, it's just a training exercise. And basically what you'd have to do is go there, they'll kind of show you all the controls. Let me go this way. Gonna go. So you'd go there. Then they'd show you like the basic controls of the bike. So everything that you would need to know on how to ride a bike, complete beginner. If you've never jumped on a motorbike before, they will teach you step by step. Don't make the same mistake. A lot of people do this. They're like, oh, I've ridden a bike before, and they go, you know, they go to the instructor and say, oh yeah, I'm very experienced or whatever. Do not say that, okay? It's not a test, so they're not going to fail you if you say you don't have experience. So just say the truth, because a lot of people do this and try to say, you know, they've had experience, and obviously the instructor's going to go, oh great, you have experience, and if everybody else has experience in the group, they'll kind of go do things quicker, you know. So that's why you got to be truthful, and you can't really, yeah, just be truthful, and they'll help you. So once you've told them, look, I've never been on a bike before, let's just assume you've never been on a bike, basically they will teach you the controls, show you the controls, they'll take out your own pace. I think the first half of the day you'll do like maneuvers and things like that around cones. You'll do U-turns, stopping and starting, just changing gear from first to second, all the basic things you definitely need to know before you hit the road, because funnily enough, you will be hitting the road on the same day if the instructor thinks you're capable, and most people do hit the road, to be honest. There's no really high standards for the instructors saying to the group, okay everyone, we're going to go on the road now, because they kind of have to do it, and most CBTs are done on the same day, like the whole course. So chances are, no matter how bad you are, unless you're completely terrible, they will say we're going to go on the road now, and you're basically just going to show them that you're quite competent. You can ride quite safely. You know, you can brake, you can stop, you can turn, you can follow traffic rules, all that stuff. And yeah, so that's pretty much the basic thing of a CBT. It's a one-day course. There will be some schools, right, that do give you gear and things like that, and they will give you gear and things like that. They'll give you like helmet, gloves, obviously the bike. They'll give you all that sort of stuff, so you don't need to worry about any of that. I have to keep that clear. Can't block my man here. I've got to let him go. Only when this guy goes I can go, to be honest. And I don't want to wait, and I'm past the line. They'll provide you all the gear. They'll give you the helmet, the leather. Oh sorry, they won't give you leathers. They'll give you gear though, not leathers. Don't get excited. But they'll give you all the gear that you need, and the bike and all that type of stuff. And all you need to do is basically just show up, you know, listen, try your best, and hopefully on the end of the day you will come back with a completed CBT. Now once you have completed this will give you rights on the road. Acts kind of like a license, but it's a learner license, so you can get a 125 maximum motorbike. That's if you go obviously for the manual. But that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about like we're not talking about automatics or mopeds or anything like that. So yeah, so once you're basically completed that CBT, you can go on the road and you can ride a 125cc manual motorbike. You will have to display L plates on the front and the rear of your motorbike to show like everybody else that you're a learner, you just passed. So like, you know that thing, I'm just a girl, but it's going to be, I'm just a learner. So obviously it will do you a lot of favors as well, to be honest. People always say, oh, I've got L plates, things like that. It will do you a lot of favors, because if you do make a mistake, oh, that went yeet. If you do make a mistake, people kind of not you know, they'll be kind of lenient, as they should. So L plate, you'll not be allowed to go on motorways. Trust me, you don't want to go on the motorway with a 125. You do not want to go on the motorway with a 125, you know. That's just not what you want to do. Okay. So you won't be allowed to go on the motorways. You won't be allowed to carry passengers as well. So you're thinking you can pilly your mate on a CBT? You can't. Well, legally you can't. And yeah, I'm sure if you're stopped while pillying someone on a CBT, and it's quite obvious because a lot of 125s are small bikes, you'll be stopped and you'll probably get your bike seized, most likely, I think, because you're basically riding with no license if you pilly someone, and then that's also no insurance, you know. So like I said, that's the CBT part of it complete, right? So you got your CBT, you got your bike. Now that CBT lasts for a 2-year period, okay? That lasts for 2 years, and you'll have to renew that every 2 years. You only have to renew that every 2 years though, if you do not go for a big license. So if you don't go for the A2 or the A, if you don't go for the A2 or the A license, you will have to keep renewing that CBT, because it's like a learner's permit, for example. So you gotta go, you know, renew it. It's like a provisional. Your UK license, you don't have to renew that. You have to do any more tests. But after 2 years, if you still are on your CBT, you just have to renew the same test again. And it's quite easy as well, because you'll go to the group that has already done CBTs. There's like 2 different groups. So you'll go to the group that already does CBTs. Oh, sorry, already done a CBT. And then they'll basically fast forward you to go on the road straight away, because you basically have riding experience. So that won't be an issue. Now let's talk about the second license after the CBT. The A1, aka the most useless license on planet Earth. It has to be. I mean, only the UK has useless licenses, and I'm sure no other country has a license as useless as the A1 license. The A1 license, all it is quickly check, because I signaled quite late. The A1 license is basically CBT maximum 125cc basically, so the motorbike cc limit does not change, it stays the same, right? What does change, however, is the ability to carry passengers. So now you can carry a pillion on the back of this bad boy, all right? Finally carry a passenger, right? But there's a lot of traffic. I'm not going this way. Yeah, I'm not going this way. There's no way, son. No one there. Perfect. What was I saying? Yeah, so you can carry pillions now if you got an A1 license, and also you don't have to present L plates at all because you're no longer a learner. That's why I say it's the most pointless license, because you don't get any extra power out of it, and that's what the license should all be about. It shouldn't be about carrying L plates or passengers, you know, and that's why not many people in the UK go for the A1, and rightly so, because it's completely useless, you know. So yeah, in my opinion and my recommendation is do not go for the A1 license. It's completely pointless. Completely pointless. Because say for example you get your CBT at 17, then you can just, in 2 years time when you do need to renew it, chances are it will be in line with your birthday, right? And you'll have a couple months to do your A2, which is your full motorbike license, restricted though. But that's a permanent license. Still, I'll go into more detail in a second on that. Lost my train of thought there, son. What was I saying? Yeah, so the A1's the most useless license ever. Do not go for it. So what I did say is go for instead is the obviously wait and just go for the A2. The A2, now this is the interesting part. This is where it gets interesting for people on motorbikes in the UK, right? Especially youngsters. The A2 is currently what I'm on. I did my CBT last year when I was 18. Sorry, about a year and a half ago. So I'm 20 now, but I was let's do some filtering. Alright, nice. What was I saying? So I did my CBT a year and a half ago when I was 18. I just turned 20 now, and all I did was I just waited until I was 19, and then I went for my A2 license. When I had my CBT, I was on a 125 MT 125, which is Yamaha. It was a good bike, naked bike, one of the best 125s you can get, right? And then once I got my A2 license, I moved over to an MT-07, okay, which was beautiful, gorgeous bike, naked as well. Obviously same model, just different CC, the different model variant. That was Yamaha as well. And now I am on the Yamaha R7. I am still on my A2 license at the moment. So yeah, let me talk about the A2 now. My favorite license. It went from the most useless license and the one that I don't like because it's pointless, to my most favorite license, which is A2, because this is where you get some real power, you know. A lot of people go from 125s to like 400 cc's, and that's the lowest they upgrade to once they get the A2. They go from like 125s to like 650s or 700s, so it's really good. Why is there so much traffic here? This is ridiculous, honestly. This is honestly ridiculous. Right, A2 license. Let's talk about the best license there is in the UK in terms of the best jump of the licenses, you know what I mean? Because the jump you get from the CBT or the 125 lower CC bikes to a A2 license and the higher CC bikes is more substantial than the jump you go from A2 to unrestricted. You won't beat that feeling. It doesn't matter what you say, because the jump from a 125 to like a 700 is ridiculous compared to a 700 to 1000. You know, 1000 cc's, all they do is they're like the 700s, but they just, after they hit like a certain speed where the 700 slow down, they just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, which is called course, is an amazing feeling, but it's not the same. It's not the same difference. Which I'm trying to get my words out. I can't even get it out. Anyways, let's talk about the A2 license now. Okay, we talked about CVT, talked about the A1. Told you guys a little bit about what license I had beforehand, and you can go, Shan. No worries, mate. Right, be nice to just start riding for a bit and finally think, you know. But right, let's talk about it. A2 license. This is your first permanent license, okay? So this you can get from the ages of 19, and you need to have a completed theory. You need to have a completed theory, a motorbike theory, and you need to have a valid CBT certificate, which is what I told you guys. It lasts for 2 years, right? But if it runs out and you want to go do your big license, any of them, that is the A2 or the A, you will have to go renew that, because that's compulsory, you know. Because they won't let you ride. Because if you think about it, if you've done your CBT or you never did your CBT, they won't let you just go for the big license, because you don't even know the basics. If you don't know the basics, you can't maneuver or control a bigger bike, you know. So you need to have a valid CBT certificate, and obviously, like I told you, that lasts for 2 years. So it's a very long time. 2 years is a long time, especially when you think about motorbikes and the stages you can go through and how quickly you can get it. It's a long time, right? So I don't think that's bad at all in the way that it works. So once you cop your CBT certificate, you have it valid. Once you have your theory, you can now go for your A2, right? And now this is the interesting part, and this is where the licenses actually make sense, because it's like, you know, you actually have to do something to get your license. You have to do something properly. You have to show some actual skill or show some level of competency and confidence, okay? So now, say for example, the same school that you went and did your CBT with, you like them, you want to go with them, right? So now you've got your school. If you don't have one, there's plenty of good ones out there. You guys can always message me. I have some great recommendations. One, if you're in London, I will give a shout out to Lightning Motorcycles. They are great. That's the school that I did my tests with, and they were really patient. They were really helpful. They were really to the point, you know. So it doesn't matter what background you come from. It doesn't matter what your riding abilities are. They will basically help you get through each stage, and that's why I always go for them. Even for my next license, which is the full A Unrestricted, I will go again to them most likely. But yeah, so A2 license is interesting. So like I said, CBT certificate, you need to have your motorbike theory, which is hazard perception, and of course just multiple choice as well. So once you pass that, you're good to go. Go book your A2. Now on the A2 test, all right, like I said, they will provide you all the gear and all the things necessary if you get that package with them. But you actually can take your own motorbike if you do have one. A lot of people don't, because of course you usually get the license first and then the motorbike, because you can't ride the bike without the license. But there are some people who have the bike, and you can get insurance for it, and you can ride your own bike if you want to do it, and you can do your test on your own bike. But thank you for wearing your seatbelt. So no worries, mate, no problem at all. I'll always wear my seatbelt, always. Anyways, which way are we going, lad? Oh, we go right. Yeah, we'll go right. This road's really bumpy, so I gotta be careful. Oh, that felt nice. Okay, let's go back to cruising so I can yap about the licenses. Okay, so you go there and you have two separate tests. Oh, is that cows? Oh, it's horses. Hello, hello doggy. So you have two separate modules. You got mod 1 and you got mod 2, right? Mod 1 consists of like slow maneuvers, so I will actually go through it fully so you guys know exactly what you're doing, because I did it quite recently, so I remember. So I will tell you guys it step by step. So obviously you'll do the training. The instructor who you're with the school, he'll basically do the whole test with you a couple times, because the test isn't a secret. So the first part of the test is slow maneuvers. So we're going to be doing a manual move of a bike. All right, so you know when you see people, they're getting on the bike and it's not in the position they want it to be, they're going that way and the bike's facing that way, so they'll move the bike around, right? Now some people might think, you know, they'll be like, oh, move it on the kickstand, but that's a nice, is that an M2? Yeah, it's an M2, that's very nice. You know what, they grew on me. I didn't used to like them, but now I like them. They're actually really nice. So first thing they'll ask you to do when you enter the test arena, it's literally like a little box, or like a, you know, it's basically a test area, and you'll basically do your slow maneuvers in there. So the first thing they'll ask you to do is your manual handle. So you'll move your bike from one area to another area manually, from like one set of cones to another set of cones. They're quite close to each other. So you'll move it forward, and just basically they're just trying to see whether you'll drop the bike. In all honesty, they're trying to see whether you'll drop the bike, and it's not hard, guys. Just take your time, move it slow. It's heavy. Bikes are heavy when they're leant over and you lose control. They're not heavy when they're like upright, because that's where they're stable basically. So if you keep the bike upright and you don't like lean it over to the side or anything while you're moving it, you should be totally okay. And this is the easiest thing that you will do on the whole entire test anyways, and you'll fly through it. I know some of you girls, because I had some girls messaging me because they're like, oh, bikes are really heavy, am I going to be able to move them around? And even a couple guys also said the same thing, and I said, guys, it won't be an issue at all. All right, bikes are heavy, but they're only heavy when you're about to drop them or they land in your leg, so you'll be fine. This guy's tailgating me a little bit. I don't like it when they're that close. What was I saying? So yeah, so you'll move the bike. That'll be the first thing you do. After that, all they will ask you to do is they'll have a set of like about 6 to 8 cones, and they will tell you to slalom around the cones, okay? And after you slalom around the cones, this is pretty easy as well. Oh, tight gap for the trucks. After you do the slalom, you'll go straight into a figure of 8. And obviously you guys know what a figure of 8 is. You know, you go like that. I don't know if you can see that. All right, so you do the figure of 8. They might make you do it like 2 or 3 times, but once they feel that you're confident on that, you'll move on. Now, once you do that figure of 8, you'll get moved over to, where will you go now? Where will you go now? Ah, yes. Once you do the figure of 8, you will be called over to another area just a couple meters away, and they will ask you to do the U-turn, okay? And guys, the measurements are up online of how much space you get to do the U-turn, but there is sufficient amount of space. Some people do struggle on this, so all I'd say is do your practice, do your research, and get in a car park. And if you're concerned about this, do the U-turn. A lot of people do fail on this one, okay? I'm not saying that to scare you guys, I'm just saying that to be real, you know? So it's there's obviously going to be easy things about the test, and there's going to be hard things about the test, and this is one of the things that people struggle with, right? It just takes a bit of practice, and the U-turn's very important. I understand why they have it in it, because it's something that you'll do every single day. Go Infinity, shouldn't I? Yeah, you know what, I'll go there, do a little bit of shopping, but let me just finish off the explaining a little bit. So what was I saying? I always lose my train of thought. This is so bad. This is so bad. Well, there's a lot of potholes, mate. Watford Council, you need to sort out your potholes, mate. All right, so I think it's left. I know the way. It's not right. So yeah, you'll do the U-turn, and then after that they'll ask you to do a controlled stop. All that is, they'll ask you to come forward and they'll ask you to stop. They'll ask you to stop. All right, so it's just a normal control stop. Go forward, pull on the clutch, stop, boom, done. All right. Now within this there will be a lot of times you do have to check your blind spots and everything like that. I'm not going to go to the front here because I've gone to the front here before, and a lot of people don't leave space at the front because obviously you don't have to, and I get stuck on the other side. And that's fine obviously if there's no like bus, but if a bus comes around that corner, you are cooked. So what was I saying? Yeah, so do the control stop, then they'll ask you to go all the way to the back of like the section that you do the test in, and they'll ask you to do a like emergency stop. They'll put their hand up and they'll say emergency stop, and you'll have to do that. Then they'll ask you to go all the way around to the back, come back, and then do a what do you call it, hazard avoidance. And then they'll tell you to go all the way to the back, come back. Let me just tell you what the hazard avoidance is actually. The hazard avoidance, they'll put a cone and they'll say, yeah, I need to go around that cone and then come back in. It's basically simulating, right, something like a child running into the road or a ball coming out, and you just got to go like boom, boom. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's not as aggressive as that, guys. Don't worry. It's not as aggressive as that at all. So I don't think it's going to be like that. Hazard avoidance, then you'll come and do a speed test. Hello, doggy. No way. That was a speed camera, right? Guys, why I suddenly brake that? That's the same speed camera that I got fined for before. Because I thought it was a 40. It looks like a 40. This road looks like a 40. Obviously, still my fault. I should have seen that, but it looks like a 40, and that's why I smashed. I was like, no way, not a second time. That's crazy. Right, once you complete that, that's module 1 complete. Say for example you don't put your foot down, the examiner thinks you've done well, you've passed mod 1, right? Mod 2 is completely on the road. Exactly what I'm doing here. If I'm going left, I'm signaling before I'm making the turn, I'm checking my blind spot, all those good, you know, riding habits, right? So mod 2, you will go out with your examiner and he will test you rigorously, and maybe another ride at the same time, sometimes only. It depends just on the day, depends how many riders they need to test. Do you know what I mean? How many slots they got, all this stuff that doesn't matter to you. You just focus on your riding. As long as you're safe on the road, they will pass you. You will have your module 2 complete. Okay, and yeah, and then now you've got your full motorbike license, but this is limited to 47 brake horsepower, 500cc, and you will then have to have restricted bikes basically, or you could just get a bike like a 500cc. I've got an R7, mine's restricted, so yes, I'm still my A2 license, and obviously all the A licenses is unrestricted. It's the same exact test as exactly what I just told you guys, but it's with a unrestricted, it's with an A bike, you know. They'll go next to you to like, because this happens to bikers a lot, they'll go next to you, right, to intimidate bikers, and then like I'm thinking in my head, like, do you not know the power of these bikes? Like, they'll smoke you in like literal 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like that guy there is so funny. Oh my, it's people like that just make my day, because it's like, oh, I just get humbled so fast, and he's probably in his car like, oh, these bikers, you know what I mean? Oh, it's funny, so funny. All right guys, so now I've explained to you guys about all of the bikes, all the licenses, and now basically you can choose which license you want to go for, right? Obviously a lot of it is age, but you know, I didn't go into gear for a sec. A lot of it is age dependent, yeah. But like I said, pick the license that you know is suitable for you. So if you're 19 and you don't want to get into biking yet, and you're thinking maybe in the future, next couple of years, maybe wait until, oh, I didn't even tell you guys that. Oh, I should have said this. The ages for the A license, if you've carried your A2 for 2 years, you can basically go for the A license. However, if you haven't carried your A2 for 2 years, you will have to basically wait until you're 24, and that's just how it is. You just have to wait until you're 24. Say for example you got your A2 when you're 19, you can get your full A unrestricted at 21. You got your A2 at 20, you can get your unrestricted full A license at 22. Vice versa, just add 2 years on. And like I said, if you're 24, you can just go straight to unrestricted full A license, you know? Let's do some shopping now.